John Eichelsheim for Boating New Zealand magazine. Lovely day on Lake Taupo. We're reviewing the DNA 570 XHT. So I'm sitting with Dominic Lowe from Ocean Time. Dominic, you are the dealer now for DNA boats. Why DNA? What was it that attracted you to these boats in particular?
Well, there was a long list. One of the things that really stood out to me was the quality of the workmanship. Mm-hmm. The use of the boat in more adverse conditions was important, but also the fact that although it is a production boat as such, it's still very customizable. So if we have one client, for example, that very much wants the family to be involved in it, well, we can have different bits and pieces that would appeal to that group.
Right.
If we have another client who's all about getting out back and really getting out there going fishing, then again it can be customized to that owner. And the cost difference between the two really isn't that great.
Right.
So that was a real draw. And then Jason from DNA Boats as well. I mean, a company's only as good as its leader, and Jason's so accommodating and willing to evolve, and that it's a breath of fresh air really. There's nothing that's too hard, and if it's a good idea in his eyes, well, let's go for it.
Excellent. Now the owner of this particular boat, we talked about customising, and this is a good example. He had to do a number of things with this boat, and one of the reasons he went with DNA was because they were so accommodating. I understand that he had to actually fit it in his garage where we were storing it, and that required some modifications.
When he talked to Jason about these tweaks, nothing was too hard. So he modified all the rod holders so they're removable, reduced some of the height in the hard top,
right.
And then with the low profile tyres, the whole thing slots into his garage and can get tucked away at night.
So fantastic. So those are the sorts of things that can make a difference to an owner.
Exactly. I mean, they may be small things, but in a big production process, they're very hard to accommodate. But with Jason and DNA, absolutely, yeah. If the customer needs that, then we'll look at it pretty closely.
So Dominic, with DNA, whereabouts are you based?
So I'm based. The head office is in Gulf Harbour. The hard stand space is on the approach to the Gulf Harbour slip ramp, where we see a lot of these boats up that way. But one of the things I'm quite mindful of, as we talked earlier, is the traffic jams these days around the inner city slip ramps. So aluminium and beach launching is becoming more desirable.
Mm-hmm. And a boat like this is still small and handy enough and light enough to beach launch reasonably easily.
Yeah.
All right. Well, quite a bit of space here in the cockpit of this boat. It's not a big boat. It's 5.7 metres long, but plenty of room in the cockpit. I do like the nice soft feel under the feet. That's a great feature. We've got a really good sized bait table. Cutting board on there, could be raised slightly so that you don't have this lip, but it's still a really good size, and it does drain outside, keeps all the mess going outside the boat, not inside. Plenty of spare rod holders across the back to put your gear in, knife holders, the whole lot. Underneath the bait board we've got a really good sized drawer, drains in the drawer, so you're not going to have muck piling up in here or water. Great place for a bit of tackle, or you could even store bait under here if you wanted to, but a really good size. We've got a little drop-in transom door. The walk-through is on the port side. A dive ladder that's got really decent sized tread, so that if you're trying to come aboard with your fins on, you're going to be able to get them either side of the ladder. A little live bait tank in here underneath the walk-through. Good, nice wide coamings. Again, we've got the sea deck on the coamings, nice and warm if you're going to sit on it, and cool during the summer as well, which is important. Drink holders, rod holders, properly set up. Look, there's quite a few things to like about this boat, and what does set it apart from many other pontoon boats is the fact that we've actually got a little bit of tow room here. And the way that DNA have achieved this is that they've got a reverse chine, and we're looking at the inside of the reverse chine here. So there's quite a few custom features on this particular boat. One of them, in fact, is the seat base, which is at a height and a size specifically to fit this fish bin, which the owner already owned. It slips underneath there quite nicely, out of the way, but it also forms another seat. Someone wants to sit here facing aft, they can use the bin. Now, you know, customization is always possible. If you've got a family and you'd like more seating in this boat, there are other seating options, including a bench seat across the rear. Again, the helm area is really quite nicely laid out. Decent shelter from the hardtop. I also like the fact that the hardtop is lined. We've got marine carpet all the way through it. We've got our communications gear up out of the way. LED lighting right throughout this boat, and we've got a big floodlight for the foredeck, and we've got 2 floodlights for the cockpit. Enough room on the dash for a decent size MFD. This is a Simrad NSS Evo 3. We've also got a Garmin unit here which gives us all of our Honda engine data. A nice easy to read digital display, a couple of switch panels, a couple of USB outlets there. So very, very handy. No boat should be without them. In terms of the driving position, we've got a bolster on the seat. Great for standing up to drive, and the visibility or the vision from the helm here is really very, very good. The screen is nice and wide. We've got curved windscreens. They really help your vision looking ahead. So there are a number of options up here in the cuddy. This owner has opted for the infill squabs, but you can have this as 2 sort of single berths as well. Look, this will work quite well for a family or a couple who wants to spend the night in the boat. It's long enough, quite comfortable. There's provision to put a toilet up forward here as well, should you desire. And this particular owner has asked for a custom feature, which is a locker forward underneath the seats that he can put any valuables away in. So the 570 is a good performer, goes very nicely. We've got 150 horsepower, a Honda on the transom, plenty of grunt. The pickup is good. Obviously great response, plenty of torque from that engine, but this boat would go quite nicely with a smaller engine, a 115 for instance, and it is offered in that spec. As far as the handling goes, it rides very well for an aluminium boat, and it's also quite quiet. The way that the chines have been designed means it's a dry boat as well, and of course you've got all of the benefits of pontoon boats with the stability at rest and stability underway as well. So there we have it. It's a DNA XHT hardtop. It's a little pontoon boat, compact, but actually really quite a roomy boat inside, a newcomer to the pontoon boat market, and one that's definitely worth having a look at. John Eichelsheim from Boating New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to our channel.